Roman Holiday. A classic film that helped raise the bar even higher for romantic comedies. Just like previous movies had, like City Lights and It Happened One Night. It was written by Trumbo and stars Gregory Peck and Audrey Hepburn in her first major role, which she went on to win the Oscar for Best Actress. And Trumbo won the Oscar for Best Screenplay. Roman Holiday is about a princess that is visiting Rome, but she's completely miserable. Every aspect of her life is exhausting, maintaining an appearance of absolute perfection. Always pleasant, always well-spoken, giving speeches and memorizing lines. She just wants to feel normal for once in her life. To do things without supervision, to have fun, be left alone. She feels like a prisoner. She clearly starts suffering a mental breakdown, and instead of listening to her vent out her frustrations, they just give her a sedative to knock her out. Because, they have a busy day tomorrow. There's simply no time for her to be getting hysterical. So she sneaks out and manages to escape the embassy, but the delayed effect of the sedative causes her to pass out on a bench, where Joe Bradley, a journalist for the American News Service, happens to stumble upon her and, since she seems blackout drunk, he takes her home where she can be safe. But once he discovers that he has a princess crashed out in his apartment, he promises his boss a very exclusive and very expensive story. And in order to pull this off, he'll need to act like he's someone he's not, while Anne also tries her hardest to pretend she isn't runaway royalty. I just watched this for the first time, and I was so wowed I decided to change my current project from Godzilla to this. It's kinda funny, they both came out almost the same year. And I'm just a bit sleep deprived, so I'm hoping I don't make any mistakes with my editing. I must have been living under a rock. Not that I'd never heard of this movie before, it's famous and it's beloved, I knew that much, but when you haven't seen something or really heard much about it, you don't really know what to expect. Whatever I was expecting, it wasn't this. Starting off, this isn't just a romance, it's a comedy, and it's genuinely funny. There's a ton of situational humor and fish out of water stuff, and most of the dialogue is clever and snappy, but there's also a few repeated gags that only get better as they go on. For example, when Joe brings Anne home and she's all loopy, he tells her that she's gonna be sleeping on the couch. Well, she ends up passing out on the bed, and he gets frustrated and flings her off of it. Then after finding out that he just manhandled a princess off of his bed, he carefully tries to move her back onto the bed without waking her up. Then there's his friend Irving, who he's convinced to secretly take photographs of Anne, but whenever Irving opens his mouth, he's always on the verge of blowing their cover. A few times in the movie, Joe needs to shut him up, as inconspicuously as possible, but Irving's got a big mouth. He'll talk over him, kick him, spill drinks on him, knock him over, whatever it takes. And Irving is so clueless, he just keeps getting angrier and more confused. But this isn't just a comedy, it's also a romance. And what would a romance be without a couple of strong leads? Audrey Hepburn is phenomenal. Obviously, you'll believe that she's a princess, it's Audrey Hepburn, but she outshines everyone in every scene, and it isn't just because she's stunning. There's a lot of vulnerability and subtlety to this role, and although the big romantic charm is dialed up, her character feels totally realistic and sympathetic. It's a delightful movie, but there's a lot of sadness here too, and she'll sell you on that. Gregory Peck is also great. They're a terrific match in this movie, despite the small age gap. Audrey was 24 and Gregory was 37, which isn't that weird, but by the way she acts in the movie, it seems like she's a teenager, or a very young adult. But anyway, he's a fun, handsome character and an excellent leading man. He has money problems, and so he starts off kind of evil, but you watch their relationship bloom, and it's like a dream. And it's happy, and you're happy, and everything's just wonderful. That's the cool thing about Roman Holiday. Watching it feels a bit like a vacation. For a couple of hours, you get to sit back, enjoy the light comedy and the drama and the shenanigans. It's entertainment at its best. A 2-hour experience that's good the whole way through. I never felt the slightest bit frustrated or annoyed. There's never a scene that was out of place or overstayed its welcome. It's a perfectly pleasant movie. Except, when it's not. As effortlessly as the movie makes you smile, it'll rip that away with some real sad moments too. It might be early to be saying this. Well, early for me, but I think Roman Holiday is a masterpiece. Everything about it is beautiful. Technically, visually, emotionally. It's bittersweet, and I loved everything about it.